Hey guys, my name is Lance and welcome to my channel, Work Hard to Be Lazy. So recently I discovered a show called Undercover Billionaire, and I mean, with a name like that, how could you not be interested? So the premise of the show pretty much consists of this guy named Glenn Stearns. You might know him because he is the founder of Stern Lending, a big lending company. That's how he ended up making his money. I did do my due diligence because I was curious to see if he was actually a billionaire, but unfortunately he is a 500 millionaire. Still quite a bit of money, but you know, but I understand why they went with billionaire. It's just a catchier title. So the idea for the show came when Glenn wanted to see if the American dream was still possible. The idea that you can come from nothing and make something of yourself. So he took on a challenge to make a company worth $1 million in 90 days, starting with just $100, a truck, and a cell phone. And my God, was this show eye-opening. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. It is a reality TV show after all. While I can't confirm which part, if any, were scripted, the lessons and methods that Glenn used are very credible. I watched the entire first season, which was 8 episodes on Hulu. Unfortunately, it expired just this past Tuesday, so by the time this video comes up, you're gonna have to find another source to watch it if you're interested. But today I just wanted to do a reactionary type of video to the show because I found it so interesting and maybe it'll spark an interest for you guys to watch. Obviously, with the show being owned by Discovery Channel, I can't just use straight footage from the show, but I'm hoping that they'll let me slide if I use some of the videos that they post on their YouTube channel. Fingers crossed. They're just short little snippet from the show. I don't know if any of them are gonna be interesting, if they're just gonna have spoilers. I'll try to leave out potential spoilers because I don't want it to ruin the viewing experience for anybody that's gonna be watching. But all right, let's get to it. Remember, all these are very short clips. They're all between like 40 seconds to like no longer than 2 minutes. So let's see what we got.
So I've set up meetings with a few entrepreneurs to see if they can help me figure out which is the right industry for me. I've warned them that the cameras are going to be following me. The first is KIRBY, who runs a coffee shop, and it's doing quite well. You know, there's a 7% growth in coffee sales, which makes it really the fastest growing segment in the food service industry.
Now, I know for sure he didn't know that at the top of his head. He actually utilized a free resource that he'll talk about in the show once you get there. Honestly, I never knew about it. I thought it was so enlightening, and I actually plan to use that myself. So we'll see.
Hi, how are
I'm
you?
Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. Glenn, how you
Nice
doing?
to meet you.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
nice
How are
to meet
you?
You know, I have just arrived in Erie.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's kind of looking maybe to start a bit.
It's Erie, Pennsylvania. The challenge was he was gonna go into a city that he's never been before, doesn't know anybody there, to do the challenge. So nice little small town.
Business, and I did a little research, and you pop up just about everywhere. So why coffee? Was that just a passion?
Yeah, it was something I really enjoyed. You know, you look at our downtown district, there's only one chain coffee shop in town. And so it's like, why is there not a local space? So I just felt like the environment and the ecosystem was the right timing.
How is your business doing?
The business is paying for itself. We've been here like a year now, so it's going well.
That's actually a really good sign. I don't know if anybody knows, but a lot of food service industry, like restaurants, coffee shops and stuff like that, usually you hemorrhage money the first 2 years that you're open, meaning that you're usually running at a loss. And after 2 years is usually when business starts to pick up, pay for itself, and return a profit.
I do think that Glenn is coming into the city at a great time. We are very focused on growth. You know, people are really rooting for one another because I think we're all rooting for the city.
Alrighty, so that was then the first clip. Honestly, the city of Erie is a small town and there's a lot of camaraderie between people. Like, even though she is one of the few local coffee shop owners, I think they said like one of 2 coffee shops or something like that, she wanted to give Glenn information and be helpful and give him some insight, even though if he did end up opening a coffee shop of his own, it would be in direct competition to her. But as you can see, it's not like she wanted him not to open it. She was very helpful. Alrighty, moving on to the second clip.
Hello, welcome everyone to the Monday evening meal. We did just want to have a quick announcement about the crew that's here. They're filming a documentary film.
I've given my camera crew a cover story since they need to follow me. They're doing a documentary on Glenn Bryant, who quit his corporate job to start a business later in life. How you doing? How's that, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
This looks good.
God bless you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Thanks a lot, hon.
How are you? Let me.
be better.
Want a little more?
Yes.
There you go.
What's this documentary about?
Going out and living the American dream, trying to make it on my own as a business owner, and starting it at 55 versus most people started it when they're your age, you know?
Yeah.
I felt good for helping, and then I felt bad because I'm kind of living under this false pretense. You hungry? All right, let's give you a plate. There you go. You're welcome. I get it more and more why they're...
Honestly, this episode was really early in the series. I think it was like in episode 2, maybe 3. I want to say 2, but it was a very somber moment. Pretty much, as you can see, he was serving at a soup kitchen. And I know the producer, my God, they did a good job playing that kind of music and setting up the feels to hit you right in the feels. But regardless, Glenn, you can tell even though he is a very, very successful, wealthy person, he's very relatable. He has emotions just like anybody else. When I watched it, it hit me in the feels. I was tearing up. Not everybody can live that luxurious lifestyle. Some people do have hard times and, you know, down on their luck, and we can all use some help. Regardless of who you are, we can always use a helping hand when we're down on our luck.
There's this big divide between those rich SOBs. A little more?
A little bit, thank you.
These people are just thankful to have one meal. How are you? Good. How we doing?
We're doing terrific.
All right.
You're doing a good job. We might hire you.
Good, I'm hired.
There you go.
Get a
isn't
job.
Good, but
Pay isn't good, but the benefits.
The benefits are good.
Good.
And then after they eat, we eat.
Perfect. I go in for a hot meal. Thank you, dear. And I come out really realizing that I've got my life so good, and I don't know, I just don't know why we got it so good, you know? And it makes me feel hopeful in the world.
I'm glad you came. Don't feel guilty.
No,
you worked for it.
But I appreciate everything.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you too.
It's a reminder that starting a business here isn't just about proving something. It could positively impact a lot of people if I do it right.
Honestly, if they got somebody else, like some other rich tycoon, not going to mention any names, that didn't have as much empathy as Glenn, that scene probably wouldn't have hit as hard. Honestly, I don't even know if they would have had a scene like that. But Glenn, you can tell he's a very genuine guy, very down to earth, very relatable. And I'm glad that even though he's made money, at his core, he's still that person that came up from nothing. And you'll learn about his backstory if you end up watching the show. They discuss it a few times. I mean, how you can just look it up. But he's a self-made millionaire, almost billionaire, 500 millionaire, whatever. But yeah, self-made, and he's still humble, which is nice. All right, moving on. Third clip, here we go.
Best way I know how to get the capital that I need, real estate.
Did you guys know that 90% of millionaires made their money through real estate? Real estate has a lot of potential to make you money. If you're looking for long-term investment, you can do rental properties, or you can do short-term and flip houses.
Because I was in the loan business, I know a little bit more than your average person. The average person thinks you need 20% down payment in order to get into a home, fix it up, and turn around and sell it. There are programs out there where you can put very minimal down, be provided a construction loan to do all of the improvements on the bank's dime, not your dime, and you can make the profit. Now that I've sold my Escalade, my plan is to find a house, put a down payment on it, and secure a $10,000 construction loan for the renovation.
Okay, I know he just randomly mentioned that he sold an Escalade, but that was one of the side hustle that he had to do to make some money. They didn't randomly give him an Escalade to sell. He didn't sell his own personal Escalade. He did it as a side hustle to get some capital to put it into this real estate flip.
I've been talking to 2 realtors in town who've lined up some properties.
Also, just real quick, he's absolutely right. To get into real estate, there's many things that you can do, many ways to invest in real estate. The construction loan that he mentioned, I had no idea. Like, I knew that there's other ways. You don't have to always have the 20% down or anything like that, but I didn't know about the construction loan. That was something I learned from the show. Like I said, it has a lot of information that you can pick up.
For me to go see.
Hey, how are you?
Hey,
good.
How are you?
How's it going?
I'm doing good. How you doing, young
Good.
man?
Well, I've been doing.
Every time I see that scene, it always makes me kind of cringe. The fact that the realtor called Glenn young man is a little cringy. I mean, Glenn might be a little younger than him, but I wouldn't say Glenn is by any terms a young man. No offense to Glenn. He is, a nice guy, very somewhat youthful at heart, but come on now. You could have gone with any other term. Like, why young man? You could have called him Bud. It would have been fine with Bud. Anything else. But regardless, minor side note, let's keep going.
Research in this area, and I want to find a house for about $30,000 or $40,000 that needs mostly cosmetic work that I can do for probably around $10,000, and then flip it for about $80,000 or $90,000, which is the going rate in this neighborhood. This would give me a profit of around $40,000, which is my goal for my startup money. How much is this?
Flipping houses, those are actually pretty common numbers, like buying for half the market price, putting some cosmetic work in, and then flipping it for twice as much as you bought it for. That's actually very common. Obviously not every flip is gonna equate to that, but I have seen and heard about many flips that literally people doubled what they paid for.
This one.
This one is $29,900. So, yeah, this one has 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It's a small one.
This is where the water damage.
Yeah, you can see that.
This is the rough one here.
I'd say so.
This one would
Yikes.
probably be a mid-range repair job as far as time.
I'm on a different time schedule to fix this house up. I want to do it fast, whatever it
Fast?
is. Yeah.
What's fast, though?
6 weeks.
Seriously? Wow.
I know this is an insane timeline, but I need a quick fixer-upper to get the cash in hand as soon as possible. The hard part about doing this undercover is that I have to stick to a schedule that is faster than what most people are used to in this field. This first house needs way more than just touch-up, so I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
Alrighty, so done with that, I believe, 3rd clip. But yeah, flipping houses, usually you talk about how many weeks it's gonna take. 6 weeks for a flip is incredibly short. I mean, that's usually just light cosmetic work, very minor things, touch up here and there. Okay, we're on to the 4th one here.
Sending Chris Trott an email about the schedule for RibFest. The RibFest load-in is in 3 days, and there's still no word from Chris Trott on whether or not he thinks he can get the smoker ready on time. Because I'd like to see if he can make it and when he thinks he's going to be able to bring the smoker down. So, no. No, 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 no. Please.
What's wrong?
I sent Chris Trott an email, but I signed my name. I said my real name. I mean, it just says I just need to meet with you tomorrow, but I signed my freaking name.
All right, this is one of those things that I was talking about when it comes to reality TV shows. It's hard to tell what's genuine and what's scripted. This is one of the scenes that I was kind of like, it feels kind of scripted. I mean, it could just be an honest mistake, but you have to have some kind of feeling that it could potentially be scripted. Yeah.
I'm just tired, Tim. I'm tired.
Hopefully he's not gonna see it.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't see it. Maybe he won't. I can't believe I've made it this far living as Glenn Bryant, and now I've screwed it up. If Chris Trott tells everyone who I really am, I am done.
Honestly, Chris Trott, super nice guy, very helpful. I think you're gonna see him in like one of the upcoming clips. So the premise is he's Glenn Stern, that's his actual name, but he's going by Glenn Bryant, that's his undercover name, and his email signature pretty much still had his real name. Honestly, it could, like I said, it could be a fair mistake. I don't know if it was scripted or not, but the average person, if you were to send me an email and you had like a different last name, I would just be like, whatever, you know, just simple accident, typos happen, not that big a deal. But I guess with how the show runs, like there's a random guy approaching people and he's telling them like, hey, I want to do this crazy thing. Are you willing to work for me without pay to potentially come up with something? Yeah, I guess if I was in Chris's shoes, I would be a little suspicious and probably look more into it. But yeah. All right, next clip. No pain.
So
no
these
pain.
are the cradles that'll
There's
actually
Chris.
hold the tank. Kind of looks like a rack of ribs.
Oh, okay.
Holding and then we'll set the tank and then weld the tank to those straps.
Got lots of sparks.
Yeah,
This music be
weld.
bumping.
Here's your welding helmet. Really?
Am I gonna get electrocuted?
No.
What are you doing over there?
Boom! If you want to come in this shop, you gotta have
Chris and the other guy, RJ, super chill people. Chris, genuinely super nice guy, just wants to help for the sake of helping, like especially like the underdog, the little guy. I don't know what it is, but just super nice. RJ, on the other hand, he has tattoos all over his face, all over his body. He looks, if you were to run into him on the street, he looks very intimidating. Like you wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley. But don't let looks fool you. He is pretty nice guy. He comes off as super stoic, but he was one of the first person that gave Glenn a chance to make some money. That sounds kind of weird, but he took a chance on Glenn, gave him a work opportunity, and I'm glad that he stuck around through the show. And throughout the show, you see him kind of go from like this stoic, quiet personality to opening up a little more. And you saw there just messing around with Glenn. They're like buddies now. It's a nice feel.
great sense of humor.
Let's go. Despite RJ and Chris scaring the crap out of me, I mean, we did get some work done.
All right, short, simple clip, that one. We'll go into the next one.
So pulled pork brisket rib platter.
Pulled pork? I'm trying not to look at the line. I'm too busy.
Brisket, what does that leave us at?
One.
So we have one serving
I don't know.
of brisket. So we're 80-60 brisket, correct?
My God, I wanted to get barbecue so many times watching this show. You know, not trying to spoil anything, but it's kind of smacks you in the face right there. But I did want to mention 86ing brisket. Like, I thought it was cool. I don't know if that's an actual term, but it was just like they just kind of said 86ing brisket. Using context clues pretty much just means that they're out of brisket, and I was like, wow, that's cool if they got like a lingo going on. I don't know if they actually use that in the real world, but cool nonetheless.
No more brisket.
What time is it?
It's 12:11.
It's not even. How did that happen?
Because
Yikes.
everybody wants brisket today.
We're already out of brisket. Yep.
We're gonna run out of pork. Ready to pull?
Not only are we out of brisket, we're out of pulled pork now. That's embarrassing.
We're out of brisket for right now. It's cooking right now. Yeah.
That is quite sad.
So we have chicken, we have ribs right now.
Here, Glenn, can you move?
I'm dumbfounded, quite honestly. Like, how does that happen? I mean, it's frustrating. You know, we're watching money walk away, but more importantly, Erieites give you one chance. We've killed that one chance a bunch of times with these people.
Erieites, that's cool. They got I mean, I think everywhere has a term for the people that live in there. Erieites, that sounds cool as hell. I don't know if Jacksonville people have a term. Let me see here. Jacksonvillians. Regardless, Jacksonvillians is what we're called. I've never once heard anybody use that term to describe themselves here. It looks like it's spelled Jacksonvillians, but I'm gonna assume it's Jacksonvillians. Or apparently Jackson is the other term. Good to know. Never gonna use it, but good to know.
How could we be out of both pulled pork and brisket?
I'm sorry, what was that? Because I thought that it was put on by Matt last night, 10, 11 o'clock, but he was so concerned with getting all the ribs on that he didn't put it on.
It took every bit of energy I had to bite my tongue. So when is it going to be done?
I don't know.
If you're the manager,
I can't express enough how much I hate that term. I don't know. I hate that as a response. I mean, yeah, you let it slide with minor stuff like, where do you want to eat? I don't know. But when it comes to somebody asking you a question that they need an answer for, especially for like a business or some important matter, I hate it when people just answer, I don't know. It's the easiest and most used excuse. Like, I don't know. It doesn't solve anything. Like, if you don't know, figure it out or come up with something better. Like, my God, it's frustrating when people are just like, I don't know. They just like brushing the blame off of their shoulders. Like, my God, hate it so much.
the buck stops with you. Christine isn't taking responsibility, even though she's in charge. I have to have confidence in the team that they're going to be able to succeed and not let down other people, because if the leaders aren't strong, then all the other jobs go away.
Oh my God. All right. Now we're on to the last video, but yeah, I just hate that term. I don't know. I hate it when people just answer that so blatantly. Just throw it around. Like, first thing that comes to your head, I don't know. Like, figure it out.
How you doing?
Oh.
I made a bet that this business should be worth $1 million or more. And if it's not, I'm gonna put $1 million of my own money into it. Hi, I'm Glenn.
Hey, Glenn, I'm Rich.
Hey, Rich, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Rich?
a local business valuator is here to assess and determine the value of the business. Richard Hauser is uniquely qualified to do the underdog valuation. He has decades of experience valuating businesses with specific expertise in the Erie market.
Yeah, let's take a look around.
Okay.
When you want to look at a business valuation, business is always about the future. So forecasting becomes very important.
Man, they got some good tracks. I didn't even realize.
Very important. You've got to see what something can grow into to figure out what it's worth. In terms of evaluating the business, the point of view from investments is everyone who's successful can answer a question, what is it that we bring that's different from anybody else? Why would a customer come here? Why would an investor invest in this? What's the secret sauce?
Right. We won.
Because they're into barbecue sauce. Yeah.
Best ribs at Rib Fest.
Right.
So we've got the apparel,
Right.
sauces, rubs. We're doing that online. There's our other kind of leg to the stool, which is our Undergrog beer. We have a recipe, and it's made by Union Station. Okay. That local brewer gets his piece.
Okay.
And Underdog gets its piece.
Yes.
The Underdog brand has 3 revenue streams: food and beverage sales at the Underdog Barbecue Restaurant, local partnerships and national distribution of Undergrog beer, and online sales of Underdog sauces, rubs, and apparel.
So that was another thing that I learned from the show. Like, big companies, they have multiple revenue streams. It's never just one. Like, the idea that you have a revenue stream from your restaurant business, you have the beer, and then you have online sales and just apparels and merchandise. That's 3 different revenue streams. And I was just like, I mean, for some of you guys, like, you guys might already known, but, and I guess in a sense, it's kind of obvious when you think about it, but it's just one of those things where you don't really think about it until somebody mentions it. But yeah, just eye-opening. Multiple revenue streams leads to wealth.
You could take that model to other proud cities and people can embrace it, you know? This is a business that has franchise potential in cities across the country. And that's how we can make a jump from viable business to $1 million business.
Sales and margins.
That's right.
That's the bottom line.
So I hope you can come back for the opening. You'll be able to stay for dinner, but you'll be able to look at where we are, how we did on sales, and then maybe we could get an evaluation.
Okay.
I'm anxious to find out what the company's worth. I'm hoping that my 30 years of sales experience is going to help be able to project a value that this man will see is worth over $1 million.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you tonight, okay?
Alrighty, so that was the last clip. Honestly, I guess on what the valuation was, and I got close. I was pretty dang close. I'm not gonna, spoil the ending or anything like that, but yeah, I got pretty darn close. I was pretty happy. I'm not a evaluator by any means, but yeah, overall, like I said, pretty good show. You can learn a lot of things. It was an adventure, and I don't know, like, the show is just very kind of inspirational, and it just makes you want to do stuff, like make moves. But yeah. Alright, so we just finished watching the 7 short little clips that Discovery Channel had on their YouTube channel. Honestly, I felt because they were a little out of context, the clips might not have been as significant. Obviously, I already watched the entire show, so it made a little bit more sense to me. However, I can say without a doubt that this show is definitely underrated. Again, it is a reality TV show, but I think the premise is so awesome. And while doing some research for the show, I found out that there is a season 2 that just started airing in April. This time with 3 different entrepreneurs. You guys might know one of them, Grant Cardone. He has a very strong online presence. I've followed Grant Cardone for a little while now, and I'm actually very excited to watch this new season that's going to be coming out once all the episodes are out, because I'm all about that binge life. Honestly though, I wouldn't be surprised if Grant Cardone got recognized at one point or another in the show, just because he has a very strong online presence. Again, I do recommend anybody interested in finance and starting your own business and all that to watch the show. There's a lot of things that you can learn that you might not have known about before. I know I did. Obviously, nobody is expecting to just be able to go out there and make $1 million company just because they watched the show, especially if you never tried to start your own company before. Remember, Glenn and these entrepreneurs, they're all very experienced business people with a wealth of knowledge that's all been trialed by fire. And I'm sure they all have their fair share of battle scars. And while I'm not expecting to be able to make $1 million company, The show definitely makes me want to make moves. I wouldn't say that the show made it seem overly simple or easy, but at least somewhat doable. Hell, forget $1 million company in 90 days. I'd be happy with a $100,000 company in a year. At the end of it all, if there was one main lesson that I took away from the show, is that there's no point making excuses because it doesn't lead to anything. If there's a problem that comes up, you gotta figure out a solution. It's as simple as that. Excuses might make you feel better, but it's not gonna make the situation at hand any better. This show might not be the most exciting or flashy of shows, but I really truly love its core value. It shows that people can truly make something of themselves if they are determined enough. Now, I saw a bunch of people in the comments say stuff like the rich sucks and Glenn doesn't need all that money. Some people just wanted him to give it all away to them. But let's be real here. Those people never want to do anything with their lives. All they want to do is complain and whine. I'm just like, why don't you guys try to get rich and then see how it feels when people tell you to give it all away? I just wanted to pause for a sec to wait for those excuses that are going to be flying in. Anyways, for those of you guys that end up watching the show, I hope that it gives you some inspiration as it did me. Maybe you guys will pick up a thing or two like I did. Like, I'm not saying it's the best show on earth by any means, but it does teach you some lessons, especially if you're trying to make something of yourself. But at the end of it all, it still solely depends on you to make that move. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. Again, my name is Lance, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Okay, cool, bye.